Today in the crypto space, we see the market looking nice and strong. Bitcoin back above the $100,000 mark. Ethereum up approximately 7% above the $4,000 level, and of course carrying the altcoins to much higher price targets. We have BNB looking strong, BGB, Uniswap, Aave, and many others reaching those higher levels. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to talk about Bitcoin as a leading indicator. More importantly, I want to talk about one project that is, within a range, and of course a lot of people have a lot of eyes on it, and of course that project is called Kaspa. So you know what, let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with the general market. You can see that the market cap is looking still pretty good. We're making higher highs on the market cap, still like doing our thing. Now, do we go up for a higher high and break the previous high? I like the higher lows. I like the trend that we are in. We're reaching that $3.9 trillion mark, up approximately 2% for the day. The volume's looking okay. Obviously, we're in a bit of a slump in the short term. Now, do we go up for another higher high, for another impulsive move? And of course, that will show us a sign of strength, that market participation is still loading up capital into this market, which is healthy for the bull run, right? We need a lot more capital in here to get a lot of these projects moving to higher levels. Now, if we start looking at what's going on with the top 100, of course, today we're going to be taking a look at Kaspa. I'm going to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, so we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart as well, and we'll scrape through the top 100 to just get a sense of what has been happening in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin got a nice recovery back above the $100,000 mark. Yesterday's flush out barely had an effect. Now, you saw the way the altcoins performed. In fact, the altcoins performed a lot stronger than even Bitcoin did on that dip. Look at Ethereum, up approximately 7.6% today, breaking out to much higher levels. So Ethereum is still showing strength here in this market, suggesting that the altcoins still have a little bit left in them to continue moving to the upside, right? So this is something that we got to understand, is as long as Bitcoin is within range and Ethereum is showing strength, altcoins are still in their moment, and we should be seeing the Bitcoin dominance fall as the altcoins are taking the driver's seat. Of course, tonight at 8 p.m. EST, I'll be live. We'll take a look at the Bitcoin price, Bitcoin dominance, and any other metrics. But more importantly, guys, I take requests. If you have any projects you want me to take a look at, join me live tonight at 8 p.m. EST, and I'll definitely put your requests in top priority. Let's keep on going down. Let's see what's going on here. We do see a lot of good projects. Of course, all Ethereum-based projects are leading the way at the current moment. We see that Bitcoin and Ethereum, when they do run in tandem and they do look really strong, what happens is that those two guys are going to have a lot of force and ultimately have the ability to suck the liquidity out of the altcoins, out of the rest of the altcoins, right? So this is something to consider, that at the current moment, if you're not seeing your altcoin run and low volume, it's because the volume right now is being injected into Bitcoin and ETH, and this is why we're seeing them run. And of course, as larger caps, they need that volume in order to move, right? So that's understood. As you can see, Polkadot is in a bull flag. We see Chainlink potentially breaking out of this range. If not, it's going to get rejected and perhaps stay within range or break down for a Bart Simpson retracement. So as we keep on going sideways for an extended period of time, generally speaking, the market gets bored, the market gets, confused, or maybe even still the market doubts that it's going to start to move. So just keep in mind that Chainlink already has done a pretty good move to the upside in the last little while. Up 40% in the last 7 days is pretty good move there. And we see a lot of trend trending price action to the upside still, like SUI looking good. Is HBAR ready for another move? Perhaps. Uniswap, again, Ethereum based, looking good. Near protocol grinding to the upside. Guys, the market is still green today. We have ETH Classic, obviously based on that Ethereum narrative, moving to higher levels. A lot of these alts are still moving, and the spot bags should be on fire at the current moment, right? So we're doing pretty good as far as the market goes. And of course, I'm always saying in the last bit, always think about what's the worst case scenario. If Bitcoin dips, are you prepared for a big retracement in this market? How are you preparing your portfolio to be responsible for when it does? And of course, we know that it's going to happen eventually, right? Eventually, we do come down, we get those peaks and valleys. When that happens, is your portfolio prepared for it? Are you emotionally prepared? And of course, I'm always going to say this: be a ninja. If you're going to be going right now into long positions, get in and get out. Protect those gains, protect your initial investment, and obviously have some cash on the side prepared just in case you get those bigger buy the dip opportunities that obviously in a bull run are the greatest opportunities for continuation to the upside. Okay, so looking pretty good as you see. Even we have exchange tokens looking BGB right now flying to higher levels, 30% for the day. That's awesome to see. A good indication of market participation. Obviously, people getting involved on exchanges. We have Ondo going sideways. We have Quant still looking really good, up 100 and above the $100 mark, 10%, 9% for the day. Good stuff for Quant. Finally seeing it wake up is great. And as you do see, a lot of good bullishness throughout this market. Lots of good bullishness still. All right, guys, let's see what's going on with this market. Let's begin by taking a look at Bitcoin. I know you were here to talk about charts. We see that Bitcoin is still doing its thing within that range. Now that we've made a little wick to the upside, and we came down to the wick to the downside, getting that whipsaw price action, getting everybody wrecked. Ultimately, now we could see where the market really wants to go. Where does the invisible hand want to take us in the next little while? Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. When we see Bitcoin, obviously get that whipsaw, that's ultimately, there's one objective, and the objective is to basically flush out the market, to get rid of all the leverage, to deleverage everybody, and ultimately that's healthier for the market, right? We have less volatility ultimately after that leverage flush, because the reality is a lot of us go in with too much leverage when we're overly euphoric, and at this moment we cool off the markets and we see a very healthy grind to the upside if that's what's meant to be. Ultimately, if we get onto the lower time frames on the 4-hour, we're still within a decent structure here. We didn't break out yet. It may be that we do. I am not going to get into risky positions that I'm going to have that mentality that I'm going to hold for a long time. My long-term holds are already in, and I'm not deviating from that plan. The plan is just to hold my long-term spots until Bitcoin shows us major resistance. Ultimately, if you're getting to short-term trades, you have to understand that Bitcoin could come down for a dip. So if you go long at this current moment, you have to put yourself in a position of strength, number one, and number two, put yourself where you're not taking risk. Put your stops at break even, take profit, trail up those stop losses, get defensive as best as you can, because you never know what could happen. We could get a flush like we did yesterday, and it could wipe up all your gains. In fact, it could actually get you liquidated. So be very careful here. So Bitcoin, at the end of the day, guys, nothing really actionable at the current moment. I'm a little bit worried about Bitcoin the way it looks with this current scenario. The market looks like it is slowly diverging. As you can see, the momentum oscillator here making lower highs on the momentum, and we got a few expansions to the downside as far as red expansions. I'm not really keen on getting into on price action that is showing us divergence. It doesn't matter. I understand they could get invalidated. I am totally aware of that, but ultimately I'd rather buy projects that are at the bottom of the range and ready to move, not at the tops. And this is what we're seeing Bitcoin do right now. It's kind of hesitating after a massive run from its bottom. Guys, what else do you expect? Bitcoin's taking a bit of a break. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on with Kaspa, because I think Kaspa's a little bit more interesting in the sense that, it is in a very similar spot as Bitcoin, in the sense that it is very high up there. As you can see, it ran up significantly here, guys, right? We have to understand the early days of Kaspa. They were very emotional. They were very toxic. They were very aggressive. You can see, look at this price action. And then all of a sudden, in the last little bit, we've been kind of slumpy. and the range is pretty wide. You can't knock it. If we measure this range, the range is a 45% range. That's a great trading range, right? If you could have went long and short 3-4 times into this range and done very well for yourself. The thing is that, you know, as Kaspa stays within this range, we see a lot of volume. And in addition to that, we see the potential that eventually we need to get out of this range. We need to get out of this structure. Now, ideally, we respect the fact that the market is still bullish, and we're going to respect the fact that, you know, we're moving to the upside, and that we could expect Bitcoin break above the resistance, which the majority of the resistance is at about 18 cents. The reason why I say that is because all these wicks at the top don't have much volume. And if we could break above with volume and strength, as we have had right here, as you can see, it's a good indication that maybe Kaspa is looking for the breakout at any moment now. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because of this. Let me just zoom in here and show you what I mean. You can see that the price is making higher highs and higher lows, and while we're getting volume. And you can see that the volume profile suggesting that this flag right here, and it looks like a bull flag above the 200 daily EMA, is looking super bullish for a continuation to the upside. And given the volume, it is suggesting that maybe after an impulse to the upside, we are getting some individuals just taking short-term profits, and eventually we get another move to the upside. Now, does this next move to the upside have enough strength to actually break resistance, guys? Well, if you look at the last time we went up with no volume, and it slightly did. Now, this time around, we're actually moving up, and we have volume on our side. We have strength on our side. We have market participation on our side. And we also have the market on our side, guys. Look at today. It's nice and green. Ethereum's breaking out above the $4,000 mark. Bitcoin's at 101,000 at the current moment. Crazy days, right? So what do we expect for Kaspa? Despite, you know, what you feel about it, if you look at the price action, it looks like Kaspa is going to want to break the range very, very soon and break above its resistance. Now, if it doesn't, we might get signs of bearish divergence as we get closer to the resistance. Right now, we're not that close. The reality is we're still pushing to the upside. We do see a bit of indecision, but, you know, it could be clearly invalidated by getting this momentum, this purple line overbought. And that's where we get the majority of the expansion to the upside, is when we get extremely overbought with a nice green expansion like that. And you can see that it could be poised and ready to go, positioned to get that move to get overbought. Now, of course, the risk you take of going short right now is that it gets overbought. But what about if it goes short? Personally speaking, I wouldn't be shorting right now. Not only is it not a resistance yet, number one, but number two, that possibility of maintaining this trend of momentum to the upside still exists. Volatility is at the bottom-ish and might be looking for another bounce to the upside. I got a bit of confluence in the charts suggesting, you know what, that we're green right now. So I'm liking what I see here on the oscillator. And guys, if you want to know more about this oscillator, check the description below. I got some links there for you guys. And then if you look at what's going on with the actual trend oscillator, you know, there's a bit of indecision as well here, but overall we're in the bullish control zone. Number one, we have a purple expansion to the upside, and we could resolve bullish here, especially now that we are in the bullish control zone. The bias is to the upside. So once we look at all that data, once we look at all the, you know, extra indicators that we use in conjunction with the market structure and the price structure that we got here, guys, it could be looking like Kaspa is waiting for this breakout. Okay, this is the reality. Okay, there's everything about this looks decent. Now, if we go into the 4-hour, you might say to yourself, okay, how am I going to protect myself on this scenario? Well, building a position right into this sideways consolidation, given the volume, is not bad. And you can see that below this thicker yellow line, which is at about 14.45 cents, this basically is telling you that if we break below there, be careful. Start getting defensive. Decide if you're going to exit. The problem is that right now we're pushing to the upside and we're a bit far away where your risk-reward ratio is not the best, but we're still within the structure, this shorter-term structure, this bull flag. So is it viable? Could it be possible that we do come down again and potentially bounce off the point of control, bounce off the 200 daily, bounce off the horizontal support, and potentially get a better entry so that eventually we do get this, you know, impulse, bull flag, and then impulse continuation? Guys, it's also very possible. So I've been saying this a lot also. Guys, be prepared to start trading bull flags and pennants, because the reality is that's what we're going to get when we start to see the market leave this station and start going for those expansions to the upside, those extensions, we have to be able to get into bull flags continuation pattern. So not so bad here, pretty good with all the volume, pretty good with the structure, pretty good with Kaspa and the Caspians. Kaspa is a larger cap altcoin at the current moment. So just understand that really the reality is if you're going to get in and get out. Be a ninja, guys. Don't hold for too long without defending and having a defensive strategy, even if it means just trailing up the stop loss into profit and letting it run. If it back tests your stop loss, it's okay. You exit in profit. At least you walk away profitable. Okay, that's a great strategy at the current moment because we don't know what we have in store for us, what Bitcoin has in store for us in the next little while. All right, guys, if I've offered you any value here, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. Guys are going to be live tonight at 8 p.m. EST talking about crypto news and price action. So feel free to join. I take requests. And if you have any projects you want me to cover, that's a great time and place to make them. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.